different breed. Got on me, feeling like I'm Curry, balling on your team. How you do that? They keep asking me. I came to win, so I shoot the three.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy 2.1, and I'm going to show you 5 essential steps of how you can make it to the league, whether that be college basketball, WNBA, NBA, or just professional basketball in general. These are 5 essential steps of how you can get there. And I know a lot of good coaches would agree with me, and the reason I say good coaches is because I myself had to deal with a lot of bad coaches and bad advice, but that's what got me into coaching myself and wanting to help other kids reach their goals of making it to a higher level. So hopefully you can take some of this knowledge that I gave you and keep it for yourself or pass it along to someone else who wants to reach that highest level of basketball. Now, I started playing basketball really late. I started in the 6th grade, and before that, I was playing soccer beforehand, which helped me translate my game pretty well because soccer translates well over to basketball with the footwork and everything, so that helped me out. And I stopped playing basketball in the 10th grade. A lot of it was because I was burned out, and I had a lot of bad coaches that just kind of got me out of it. But I started coaching basketball in the 9th grade, where I coached a 8th grade team, and we ended up winning our championship. And from that point on, I knew that I loved coaching. And I'm going on 24 now. I'll be 24 this month, so I'm going on 10 years now of coaching. I've coached every level from little kids all the way up to varsity basketball, which I was only 20 when I was coaching varsity basketball. I was a varsity assistant at Newark High School for the girls basketball team. I also helped out with the JV team and with the freshman team. I don't have any pictures, but here's our medal that we had won for our district championship. I also ref basketball. I've been reffing since I was 17. So I'm seeing the game from 3 different angles, from a player, from a coach, and from a referee. So, I mean, I have a lot of knowledge. I still have a lot to figure out. Like, I'm nowhere near close. I still have a lot to figure out. But I think just these 5 things right here will help you to get to where you want to go. So let's just start off with number 1. Our first step is genetics. A lot of kids don't think that they can actually make it to the league if they're really short because the average NBA player is 6'7". But that is completely false. I know you might be short now, you may grow, but you may not. If you don't, you still have a chance. There's actually been 25 players in the NBA who have all been listed under 5'9", with the shortest being 5'3", who was Muggsy Bogues, who played in the 80s and the early 90s. So if he can make it to the league at 5'3", you can make it to the league even if you're not 6'3", 6'10", whatever, some 6 foot number. You still have a chance. You just have to work harder so that the coaches don't have a reason not to put you on the team. There's 2 players in the NBA right now who are 5'9", and one has been a perennial all-star, and that's Isaiah Thomas, who currently plays for the Denver Nuggets. And then you have Kay Felder, who currently plays for the Detroit Pistons. So you still have a chance to make it. Don't let your height bring you down, no pun intended, from coming up short, again, no pun intended, of making it to the league. You still have a chance to do it. It's just a matter of how much work you want to put into making that dream come true. Now, our second step is learning terminology for basketball and knowing the actual basketball court. As far as the basketball court, you have your 3-point line, and everything within that 3-point line is 2 points. Then you have your paint area, you have your block. The other hash marks are also within the block. Those are your high post and your low post and your high post. Then you have your foul line, top of the key, the wings, corners, short corners, the slots. Those are just a couple of the spots on the court. You need to know certain cuts on offense. A cut is when you don't have the ball and you're trying to get the ball, so you need to make a certain kind of cut to get open so that you can receive the ball. So you have your UCLA cut, your L cuts, V cuts, backdoor cuts, Iverson cuts. There's so many cuts that you can make. A flare. There's other terminology that you still need to know, like icing a pick or hedging a pick. What a screen is, a screen and a pick are basically the same thing. Rebounds, just any type of terminology on the offensive and the defensive end, you would really need to know. It's different between coaches on what type of terminology they may use. It's just kind of like code between your teams on the type of terminology that you would use, but you need to know the basic terminology for the on a basketball court. And lastly, the defensive end of it. In terms of defense, you can either play a man or a zone defense. Zone defense is usually going to be for your younger teams up to college. A man defense, you're guarding your man. When it comes to zone defense, you're guarding a zone on the court. So if a player is opposing player is within that zone, you're going to guard that player within the zone that you are on that court. The different type of zone defenses that you may play are a 2-3, where you have your two players up top, kind of at the wing, and then you have your three players down low, one under the basket and two in the short corners. You might run a 3-2, a 4-1, which I've never actually seen. You may run a 1-2-2, a 1-2-1-1. Those are just different types of zone defenses that you may run. But just knowing those defenses will help you a lot, and knowing how to play them, where to be in a certain situation, especially with the zone defense. When the ball is opposite of you on the other side of the court, you need to know where you need to be, because you may actually be guarding two players on the court when you're, say if you're in a 2-3 or something, you may actually be guarding two players for the time being, because all the other players shifted over to where the ball is. It's kind of like overloaded on that side, and you're in the back just waiting for something to happen for that ball to come to you. So knowing your defenses is really going to help you, especially man defense. You need to know how to play man defense when that ball is actually in front of you, because if you don't know how to play defense, you're getting kicked out. Especially on my team. If you don't know how to play defense, you're going to sit on the bench. We're going to help you, get you back in there. Hopefully you don't get put on skates, but it's something that happens. But you got to know how to play defense. Defense is essential to basketball. It is very essential. Defense wins championships all the time. A lot of coaches will say defense doesn't win championships because they just want to shoot lights out, but defense will win championships. If you can stop the other team from scoring, and you have the opportunity to score and are scoring, it's going to be a win-win situation for you. Number 3, I put this one in the middle for a reason, because I felt this one was the most important, because all NBA players and WNBA players have all said this, and that's that you need to practice, practice, practice. And not just practice, you need to practice efficiently. Like, you need to optimize your time and do everything on the court as best as possible, because you can take a 2-hour workout every day and just BS it and get nothing out of it. But if you are going in it every day with the mindset that someone out there is doing work just as hard as you, and you need to take that step to get above them, that's going to set you apart from others. And coaches and scouts and the other teams will recognize that when you step on the court. So practice, practice, practice. I'm not saying practice every day, because you will get burned out, but practice as much as you can when you can, because that will help you get to the league. And like I said, teams, players, all that, everyone will recognize that you invested your time well to make sure that you can get to the position that you want to get to. So just practice, practice, practice. Not like AI, practice like Kobe. Number 4 is leadership. You are an extension of the coach on the court. So you have to lead by example, and also lead with your voice. If you're kind of shy, you need to try to do something to kind of break out of that shell so that you can be more vocal, because your peers will gravitate towards you more if you are more vocal with them rather than just leading by example. They still will follow your lead if you lead by example, but if you lead with your voice also, they'll go that extra mile for you, and your coach will recognize it too if you are a true leader. As far as being the leader, that means you need to be the first one in the gym and the last one out of the gym. You also need to not only know your position on the court for whatever system you're running, you need to know all 5 positions on the court. You may be a point guard, and that doesn't mean you're going to run a center, but you still need to know all 5 positions because, like I said, you're an extension of the coach on the court. So if someone's out of place, you can put them in the right place because you know all 5 positions for whatever system that you're running, whatever sets that you're running. When a coach says something, a lot of times it's going in one ear and out the other. Players aren't going to listen as much because they constantly hear them every single day. But if they hear it from you, even if they still might hear it every single day, you're one of their peers, so they're going to listen to you a little more. They're going to be more receptive to it. So you need to know all 5 positions on the court, and you need to lead by example and lead by voice. When your teammates see that, they are going to follow your lead. And when that happens, other coaches and other scouts are going to see that and recognize that and want you on their team. So to be a leader, that means you need, again, to lead by example, lead by voice, and do the little things that the other teams and your other teammates aren't going to do. You have to put in that gritty work to make sure that you reach your goals and that your team reaches those goals. And it will be recognized. It just takes time. And let me bring that back a little bit. I think this one, number 5, is actually the most important one, and that's willpower. I can actually say I didn't have the strong enough willpower to see myself through to actually try to play in college. I stopped early, but I got into coaching, and that's where my passion lies. But willpower is something that a lot of people say that they have, but they really don't. They quit early, and I'm a product of that too. I still have to work on it, but willpower is what's going to get you to the lead. Those times when you're just really tired and you don't feel like working at all are the times that you really need to work on it. And when you actually do work on it, you're going to feel so much better when you're working on your game, even if you really didn't want to. Because if you don't, someone else is going to do it. And if you don't have that willpower just to even work on your game, you can't make it to the lead because someone is going to pass you up. But that willpower, if you have that within you, that's also is what's going to keep you in the league. You're going to go through trial and errors. You might drop down to the G League if you do make it to the NBA, or just something might not go your way. Something will not go your way, but it's just how much are you going to endure to make sure that you can stay on top. A prime example of that, I think, is Isaiah Thomas. He was drafted last overall. He's on to his 6th team now, but within those 6 teams, he's been a perennial all-star. He's always had people tell him no, that he can't do something, and he's always proved them wrong. That's for a lot of other players. I think another great player like that is Derrick Rose. He's on one of his best seasons this year. He's came back from a lot of injuries in his day, and anyone could quit and just say, I'm done with this. But no, he didn't stop, and that's because he had the willpower to see it through, and now he's prospering. So those are my 5 steps on how you can make it to the league. I'm sure there's a 6th and a 7th step, but I think those are the 5 essential ones that will help you get to the league. Again, whether that be WNBA, NBA, just college basketball, or a professional league somewhere around the world. If you take those 5 things and harness them and work on them every single day, you will succeed. And even if basketball isn't your goal in life, just those 5 things, well, 3 of those things will help you in life in general to be competitive in whatever you want to do and help you reach your goals. So hopefully you can take some of this knowledge from me and it'll help you out. If not, hopefully someone else's knowledge will also. But just let something stick from it. Just let something stick to you and just take it with you. And peace.